too.
Now, one man who knows all about the Green Deal and how to make homes more energy efficient is insulation evangelist Andy Walker.
What do you understand the Green Deal to be?
I understood it to be a process where the householder is helped to insulate their homes to keep themselves warmer, as well as that to bring energy bills down and to help with the environment.
The Green Deal is administered through private firms and tradesmen who carry out assessments on your home and then come up with a plan of how to improve its energy efficiency. Now, they usually charge for that assessment, which is to see if the Green Deal is something suitable for you and your home could benefit from it. In Margaret and Tony's case, the assessment was £249, but they were told that this upfront cost would effectively be cancelled out by the savings they would make later. So what they were being offered wouldn't just save them money, but overall cost them nothing.
You can't lose money on this deal, he said. It's impossible to lose money.
I see.
And he must have said that about 5 or 6 times in the time.
The actual word impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
The price of the proposed new boiler would be somewhere between £2,200 and £3,000, with the cost of that paid back over time from the savings made to the energy bills. So far so good. But when they looked at the paperwork more closely, things didn't seem quite so impressive. They would pay the boiler off at no more than £33 a year, a figure they could easily afford if their energy bill dropped by a decent amount. But the company was estimating that they'd save just £34 a year on their bills. So in other words, Margaret and Tony would end up pocketing a measly £1 in savings. And they weren't convinced that the figure stacked up with the other energy-saving measures the company was recommending. Because although they would be making savings, they'd be paying off the costs for years.
We'd have to live with 150, I think, to be able to pay for all of it.
In fact, with the size of the repayments, it would take 112 years to pay off the cost of their Green Deal home improvements. Even the fittest pensioner couldn't count on being around for as long as that. Environmental experts have claimed that the savings originally estimated under the Green Deal were a little overambitious. For example, when the Green Deal launched, the government suggested that by using this scheme to get a new boiler, you could save up to £305 a year. Critics say the saving would be a less dramatic £70 a year. But the Department for Energy and Climate Change disputes such claims, saying that while potential savings are highly dependent on individual circumstances, their initial calculations were robust but cautious. It advises consumers to shop around to find the best price for their assessment. And the department pointed out that they've now made changes to the Green Deal, which they're confident will make the whole thing both simpler and more attractive to consumers. They expect as a result that interest in the scheme will increase. We also contacted the Green Deal provider, which assessed Margaret and Tony's home. It told us that the estimated savings for their home came from indicative average costs and not actual costs, and that if it had been given the chance to go further, the couple would have seen the real savings they could have gone on to make. So with the Green Deal clearly not providing the kind of savings Margaret and Tony would really benefit from, not to mention them being £249 down for the assessment they forked out, signing up to a scheme like this isn't the only way that you can bring down what you spend on your energy. Expert Andy has some simple tips that could save us all some cash.
Some of the things that we can do are cheap, if not free, and behaviour change is a big part of that. It's how we use our houses, turning things off we're not using, turning down the radiators, drawing your curtains, insulating your pipes. These are very simple things. They only cost a small amount of money and yet can make a very big difference.
So it's time for Andy to see if he can make the Cassidy's home more energy efficient. And first, he needs some very willing helpers, Margaret and Tony's grandchildren.
I'm Josh. I'm Amy. I'm Juma. I'm Liam.
Andy's arming the kids with a smoke pen to find the drafts where cold air from outside is getting in, and a thermal gun to find the spots where the heat from inside is leaking out. These two little pieces of kit could help identify the trouble spots that cause Margaret and Tony's heating to work overtime. So while the kids go in search of the hot and cold spots, Andy gives Tony and Margaret a few radiator rules.
Now, with some radiator foil, very easy to get at your DIY shops, if we stick that to the wall behind the radiator, and we can tuck it down, just sort of cut it so that it's a couple of inches down below the top of the radiator and a couple of inches in from either side, that will reflect a great proportion of the heat that would otherwise have gone back and come back into your room.
Back into the room, yeah.
Yeah. Now do that on all your radiators and you'll be losing less heat.
Next, it's the kitchen.
So one of the things that I noticed straight away is that we've got bare copper pipes here with only partial insulation on them. Now, one of the things you'll have to fix as part of this, which would be also to your advantage, are these halogen light bulbs. Now, more than 90% of the energy that goes into a halogen light bulb comes out as waste heat. Now, if we swap those for LED light bulbs, not only do you get a really good light at low energy, but that means that we can pack insulation directly above it. So that's two birds with one stone.
Andy's found a series of things that can be improved. Some inexpensive and easy, others more pricey and far bigger jobs. But Margaret and Tony seem very keen to follow his advice.
That's what we're going to do. What do you think you'll do?
Probably do the insulation in this one.
And the radiator foil?
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's a good
Yeah.
one, yes. Yeah.
And doing those in all the rooms in your house would make a difference.
Yeah, certainly would.